Hey guys, it's Drabble Geek here, and welcome back to another unboxing. And today is a tiny bit special because last week, as I'm recording this, was my birthday. A week and a half, I guess, as of the upload of this. So one of my friends, Panda, got me a little set of cards. So I'm going to open those today, and then I'm also going to open the set from last time, just so we have not last time, but one of the ones I introduced last time for being slightly open. Um, just so this is still a longer video and I can spend more time with my Pokemon cards. This is really for me and not really for you. So open. Oop, I might need my scissors. There we go. Okay, yeah, this is the bottom. Great. Alright, now we have the first set. Starting with a Gravity Mountain. Each Stage 2 Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, gets minus 30 HP. Ooh. Depending on how... And only Stage 2? So I guess as long as you're not playing a 2, that's fine, or your 2 has lots of health. Alright, next we have Jasmine's Gaze. During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon after applying weaknesses and resistance. This includes new Pokemon that came into play. Cool. Alright, next we have Switching Cups. Literally like the Card Shark game. Switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. Cool. Alright, next we have Skyla. She's adorable. Search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. This is a lot of go through your deck and search cards. Right, next we have a Quick Ball. You can play this card only if you discard another card from your hand. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Next, we have Sonia. There's also a lot more trainers and stuff than I usually get. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon or up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Right, next. Ooh, a Sunkern, our first Pokemon today. It is very weak. Its only means of defense is to shake its leaves desperately at its attacker. Okay, that might be less useless than Magikarp. I haven't decided yet. Right, next we have a Joltik. Although it does look like it should be a electricity Pokemon. Joltik can be found clinging to other Pokemon. It's soaking up static electricity because it can't produce a charge on its own. Okay, so maybe not an electric type. Alright, next we have a Parasect, the zombie mushroom. The bug is mostly dead, with the mushroom on its back having become the main body. If the mushroom comes off, the bug stops moving. Yep, definitely a parasite. Right, next we have a Gloom. It's kind of like a high background. It is considered a weed Pokemon. So yeah, we're going with high. Its pistils exude an incredibly foul odor. The horrid stench can cause fainting at a distance of 1.25 miles. Right, next we have a Shelmet? Shelmet, I think. Looks like a helmet that is a shell. It has a strange physiology that responds to electricity. When together with Carablast, Shelmet evolves for some reason. Cool. It just does. No reason, just does. Alright, next we have a Phoebus. It is the shabbiest Pokemon of all. It forms schools and lives at the bottom of rivers that teem with plant life. Cool. It's a fish that can flail. Yeah. Alright, next we have a Frogadier. Definitely looks like a frog. It can throw bubble-covered pebbles with precise control, hitting empty cans up to 100 feet away. Cool. Alright, this is Keldeo? Keldeo, I think. Keldeo has strengthened its resolve for battle, filling its body with power and changing its form. Alright, next we have a Seadra. Its body bristles with sharp spikes. Carelessly trying to touch it would cause fainting from the spikes. I'm guessing a poison, maybe? I think so. Alright, next we have a Carvanha. I think it's supposed to be a piranha. So Carvanha, I think. With its sturdy jaws and fangs, it can easily chomp wooden boats to splinters. It fights with Basculin over food. So there's definitely some competition there. Alright, next we have a Glimmet? I think that's a Glimmet. Looks kind of like a flower. At least that's what I'm suspecting it is. Glimmet's toxic mineral crystals look just like flower petals. This Pokemon scatters poisonous powder like pollen to protect itself. So it is like a flower. Okay. I was seeing that correctly then. Next, we have a Donphan. A Donphan, I think. Donphan is normally a calm Pokemon, but once it is enraged, it will curl its body into a ball and charge at you while rolling. So a roly-poly. An evil roly-poly. Well, not an evil one, just a mean one that will attack you instead of running away. Alright, next we have Annihilate, I think. I have never seen that before, but it looks spooky. It imbues its fists with the power of the rage that is kept hidden in its heart. Opponents struck by these imbued fists will be shattered to their core. And its main attack does 130 damage. Yikes. Alright, next we have a Mudstale. It kind of looks like two horses on top of each other. Like there would be the main horse, and then there's like a little horse on top of the other one's neck. That's kind of what it looks like. It spits a mud that provides resistance to both wind and rain, so the walls of old houses were often coated with it. Cool. Alright, next we have a duck trio. looking very angry. Can't mess with them. A team of Douglas triplets. It triggers huge earthquakes by burrowing 60 miles underground. Cool. Alright, next we have a Fido or Fido. I think maybe Fido, because it does look like a bread dog. The yeast in Fido's breath is useful for cooking, so this Pokemon has been protected by people since long ago. That's nice. So it's a domesticated Pokemon, more than likely. Alright, next we have a Togepi, everyone's favorite egg. It is considered to be a symbol of good luck. Its shell is said to be filled with happiness. Meh, maybe. Alright, next we have a Tinkatink. Looks very confused though. This Pokemon pounds iron scraps together to make a hammer. It will remake the hammer again and again until it's satisfied with the results. So a perfectionist. Understandable. Alright, next we have the skull, looking slightly confused, but that's okay, buddy. If it finds bad children who won't listen to their parents, it will spirit them away, or so it's said. Yeah, sounds like Krampus. Alright, next we have a Dedenne, I think. I really need someone to say these aloud to me. I could probably find a YouTube video, but I'm just not doing that, because butchering the names are half the fun. Since the Dedenne can't generate much electricity on its own, it steals electricity from outlets or other electric Pokemon. Alright, next we have a Skawovit. A Skawovit, I think. Looks like a squirrel though. No matter how much it stuffs its belly with food, it is always anxious about getting hungry again, so it stashes berries in its cheeks and tail. So yeah, a squirrel. Right, next we have a Lechonk, a French chonker. It searches for food all day. It possesses a keen sense of smell but doesn't use it for anything other than foraging. I mean, why else would you use your nose if not for food? Makes total sense to me. Alright, next we have a Zangoose. Oh, that's a Zangoose. It's Svelper's arch rival. To threaten those it encounters, it fans out the claws on its front paws. I guess I can kind of see that. But also from the look, I would expect it to be like a fire type. Alright, next we have a Chatot. Looks like a music note. It can learn and speak human words. If they gather, they all learn the same saying. Makes sense. Right, next we have a Starly? Yeah, I think a Starly. They flock around mountains and fields chasing after bug Pokemon. Their singing is noisy and annoying. Understandable. Especially if they're like pigeons. Alright, next we have a Rotom. Looks more like a lightning bolt. Research continues on this Pokemon, which could be the power source of a unique motor. Okay. You can use it for electricity, and that's how far they've gotten so far. Alright, next we have a Wattrel? This is another one I haven't seen before. When its wings catch the wind, the bones within produce electricity. This Pokemon dives into the ocean, catching prey by electrocuting them. And if it's, yeah, the ocean is salt water, which makes its electrocution even worse. Because if I remember correctly, freshwater electric animals produce more electricity, but since it's freshwater, it's not as bad. But saltwater electric fish are technically less powerful, but because of the salt water, it makes it more dangerous to get electrocuted by them. I think that is right. So if this is acting like a freshwater animal electrocution abilities in an ocean environment, that would be like detrimental to gigantic ecosystems. All right, next we have a Pomo. I think that looks like an angry mouse. Pomo uses a unique fighting technique in which it uses its forepaws to strike foes and zap them with electricity from its paw pads simultaneously. Sounds like electric toe beans. Alright, next we have a Luxio. By joining its tail with that of another Luxio, this Pokemon can receive some of the other Luxio's electricity and power up its own electric blast. So only attack them when there's only one. Alright, next we have a Varoom. I think it's supposed to be a motorcycle. A Varoom. A single Psy Pokemon. Maybe single cylinder. That's a car thing, right? I have no clue. It is said that this Pokemon was born when an unknown poison Pokemon entered and inspirated an engine left at a scrap processing factory. So another ghost. Half of these Pokemon are just ghost. I'm convinced. Ghost or plants. There's no in between. Alright, next is a Honedge. Very flowing sword. The blue eye on the sword's handguard is the true body of Honedge. With its old cloth, it drains people's lives away. Sounds like a Dementor, aka a ghost. Alright, next we have a Golduck. This Pokemon lives in gently flowing rivers. It paddles through the water with its long limbs, putting its graceful swimming skills on display. Next, we have a Swinub, the sleeping pig, I think. Looks like it's half sleeping, half running and jumping. Swinub excels at sniffing out mushrooms buried beneath grass or snow. Since ancient times, the people of his zoo have often relied upon this skill. Nice. Alright, next we have a Scraggy. Yeah, Scraggy, the one with two big pants. It's adorable though. It protects itself with its durable skin. It's thought that this Pokemon will evolve once its skin has completely stretched out. Well, has anyone ever seen it stretched out? Because I haven't. Alright, next we have a Haunter. Looking very scary. Very proud of it this spooky season. It likes to lurk in the dark and tap shoulders with a gaseous hand. Its touch causes endless shuddering. Right, next, this is a Sandile. The desert gets cold at night, so when the sun sets, this Pokemon burrows deep into the sand and sleeps until sunrise. Understandable. I would say that's what most reptiles do, but I know lots of them just sunbathe. Alright, next we have a Charcadet. burnt charcoal came to life and became a Pokémon. Possessing a fiery spirit, Charcadet will battle even tough opponents. So, charcoal that was possessed by a ghost. Thus, a ghost Pokemon. Alright, next we have a Torkoal? Yeah, Torkoal, I think. It burns coal inside its shell for energy. It blows out black soot if it is endangered. Sounds more like a squid with that last sentence. Alright, next we have a Pansear and a tree. This Pokemon lives in caves and volcanoes. The fire within the tuft of its head can reach 600 degrees Fahrenheit. If it lives in caves, why is it in a tree? Because there shouldn't be trees too close to volcanoes. Because like maybe it's scavenging for food. But that also doesn't make sense. Interesting. Alright, next we have a shiny Tinkatink. Yeah. Trying to see the shine. There we go. Yeah, this is the same result. Right, next we have a Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo. It's really adorable. The light that stems out from the holes in the pumpkin can hypnotize and control the people and Pokemon that see it. Nice. Right, next we have a Absol. This one has like a... It's not shiny, but it does have a strange background. The elderly call it the disappear Pokemon and detest it, but interest in its power to predict disasters is on the rise. I think most animals can do that, actually. Alright, next we have Dratini. This looks more like a snake than dragon right now. It sheds many layers of skin as it grows larger. During this process, it is protected by a rapid waterfall. Huh? So it's a snake by the first sentence. Or is it like it stays around waterfalls so it can't get hurt? Maybe that's it. Alright, and last of this set, but certainly not least of this video, we have a Ultra Ball. It was kind of like a child's drawing. You can use this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Alright, so that is one set down. One more to go. Alright. No, look. There we go. All of them. Alright. So first card of this set is a Toxtricity. And this is a shiny one, I think. That's not, like, the picture is shiny, but not necessarily the card. Or the outside is very shiny. Alright, many youths admire the way this Pokemon listlessly picks fights and keeps us cool no matter what opponents it faces. Sounds like a teenage boy. Alright, next we have a Volcarona. This one is definitely shiny. And also very adorable. Its burning body causes it to be unpopular in hot parts of the world, but in cold ones, Volcarona is revered as the embodiment of the sun. Makes sense. Don't want to be hotter in a hot environment. Right, next we have another Toastricity, but this one it is definitely more obvious that there is a shiny bit. Alright, next we have a Graveyard, a Graveyard, maybe, and shiny. Yep, another ghost. It is said that a dog Pokemon that died in the wild without ever interacting with a human was reborn as this Pokemon. Spoopy. Alright, next we have a Houndstone. This is a new one for me as well, but also shiny. Houndstone spends most of its time sleeping in graveyards. Among all the dog Pokemon, this one is the most loyal to its master. That's adorable. Alright, next we have Thundurus? Thundurus. Kind of looks like a frog. Kind of going with frog, maybe. Not sure. As it lies around, it shoots lightning all over the place and causes forest fires. It is therefore disliked. Understandable. Alright, next we have a Phoebus. Definitely got this one a little bit ago. This one has a cool pattern. Although unattractive and unpopular, this Pokemon's marvelous vitality has made it a subject of research. Nice. Alright, next we have a Candela. Probably from the AR game. Draw 2 cards. If you drew any cards in this way, flip a coin. If heads, attach a fire energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Alright, next we have a Galarian Farfetch'd with its leek. The stalks of leeks are thicker and longer in the Galgor region. Farfetch'd that adapted to these stalks took on a unique form. What, are they angrier? I can't. Without another picture of a Farfetch'd, I can't see the main difference unless it's like color. Maybe this one's like a darker brown than normal Farfetch'd, maybe? I can't really tell. Alright, next we have a Xatu, which looks less like a bird and more like a person with like a bird mask on. They say that it stays still and quiet because it's seeing both the past and future at the same time. Interesting. Alright, next we have a Larvesta. It protects itself with flame. Long years ago, people believed Larvesta had a nest on the sun. And also, this one, similar to the pack from the last video, does seem to have some cards flipped over. So some of these won't be surprises to me, unfortunately, but they'll still be surprises for you. So next one is Inkay. I think I recognized this art before though. By exposing foes to the blinking of its luminescent spots, Inkay demoralizes them and then it seizes the chance to flee. Yeah, always do that. So this is a cast form, rainy form. I don't think I've heard of this one before. This is Castform's form when pelted by rain. In an experiment where it was placed in a shower, this Pokemon didn't change to this form. So it knows if it's raining or shower or not. That's actually very interesting. Alright, next we have a Ghastly. Oop, there we go. An evil ball of gas. With its gas-like body, it can sneak into any place it desires. However, it can be blown away by the wind. Yep. Right, next card we have a Natu. This is a similar one that we got last time, actually. It is extremely good at climbing tree trunks and likes to eat the new sprouts on the trees. Right, next we have a Galarian Farfetch'd. Next, a Sneasel. Sneasel. It has a cunning yet savage disposition. It waits for parents to leave their nest and then it sneaks in to steal their eggs. Yeah, very sneaky. Alright, next we have a Deerling. So cute. The turning of the seasons changes the color and scent of this Pokemon's fur. People use it to mark the seasons. Nice. Alright, next we have a Gollet. I think Gollet. This Pokemon was created from clay. It received orders from its master many thousands of years ago, and it still follows those orders to this day. Yeah. Alright, next we have a Scorbunny. Yeah, Scorbunny, I think. It has special pads on the backs of its feet and one on its nose. Once it is raring to fight, the pads radiate extreme heat. Oh, those bandages? I legit thought those were bandages, not part of the skin. Alright, next we have a Squovit. Another one of the sheep. Not the sheep, the squirrel. It eats berries nonstop, a habit that has made it more resilient than it looks. They'll show up on farms searching for yet more berries. Alright, next we have another Inkay. Next, we have a Sobble. Looks so cute. When it gets wet, its skin changes color and this Pokemon becomes invisible as if it were camouflaged. Cool. Alright, next we have Path to the Peak. I haven't seen this one before. It's like a beautiful landscape though. Pokemon with a rule box in play, both yours and your opponent's, have no abilities. Pokemon V, Pokemon GX, etc. have rule boxes. Yeah, I think it's like a special little section of the card. I don't have one right now, or I would probably look at it to check. Alright, next we have a Kakuna. That looks very evil, actually. While awaiting evolution, it hides from predators under leaves and in nooks of branches. Alright, next we have a Hishwan Overquill. I'm probably never going to pronounce that region correctly. Its lance-like spikes and savage temperament have earned its nickname Sea Fiend. It slurps up poison to nourish itself. Nice. Alright, next we have Energy Lotto. Cool. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal an energy card you find there and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Alright, next we have a Uxie? I think Uxie. It is said that its emergence gave humans the intelligence to improve their quality of life. Alright, next we have another Yuxie. Next, a Shieldon? It looks like a rock that grew a body, like a rock friend, or a pet rock. Although its fossils can be found in layers of primeval rock, nothing but its face has ever been discovered. Oh, because it's the hard body and the soft body just goes away. That makes sense. Alright, next we have a Zelf. I think that's what that is, an Zelf. It is thought that Uxie, Mespirit, and Aself all came from the same egg. So they all were one and then split off. So this one says wisdom. Uxie was knowledge. No, this one says willpower. Uxie was knowledge. And what? Mespirit is like soul, maybe? Like they are originally supposed to be one Pokemon that somehow like split off to represent different things, maybe? Alright, next we have a Regolecki. I can't tell what that is. I think it's supposed to be like a bug, maybe? It says it's an electron, but I don't see it. This Pokemon is a cluster of electrical energy. It is said that removing the rings on Rooklee's body will unleash the Pokemon's latent power. I mean, if we're going with like orbitals of electrons, maybe. But I don't know what they're trying to go for there. Alright, next we have a Skyver. The large, wickedly sharp scythes on its forearms are truly fearsome weapons. Prey's attempts to flee are unfailingly thwarted by this Pokemon's nimble motions. Alright, next we have a Ponyta. These Pokemon live in herds out in the grassland. Newborn fowls lack their fiery manes, which will develop about an hour after birth. Well, I'm sure their mothers are very happy about that. Right, next we have a Roto Stick, which just looks like a selfie stick if I'm being honest. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal any number of supporter cards you find there and put them into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Well, that will suck if you don't have any supporter cards. Alright, next we have a Banette. This just looks creepy. I love it, but it looks super creepy. This Pokemon developed from an abandoned doll that amassed a grudge. It is seen in dark alleys. Okay, Chucky. Let's move on from Chucky then. Alright, next we have a Pangoro. It's actually really hard to see it, but I'm pretty sure like its face is in there. Yeah, this is actually hard to see. Oh, is it? I think it's coming down like this, maybe. Yeah, this is... Using its leaf, Pangoro can predict the moves of its opponents. It strikes with punches that can turn a dump truck into scrap with just one hit. Alright, next we have a Grimmsnarl. I also think we got this one last time. It was fun though. It lives deep within the forest, even after evolving into the splendid form, and hasn't given up on petty misdeeds and pranks. Because it's still a child on the inside. Alright, next we have a Druddigon, I think. Druddigon are vicious and cunning. They take up residence in nests dug out by other Pokemon, treating the stolen nest as their own lairs. I'm pretty sure lots of animals do that. Can't think of any off the top of my head, but sounds more efficient that way. Alright, next we have a Cubone, one of the saddest Pokemon ever. When the memory of its departed mother brings it to tears, it cries echoes mournfully within the skull it wears on its head. Yeah, Cubone can never win. Alright, next we have a Lechonk. This Pokemon spurns all but the finest of foods. Its body gives off a herb-like scent that bug Pokemon detest. Oh, so probably get rid of mosquitoes. That sounds amazing though. Alright, next we have In's Joltik. Still have no clue who Joltik. I know who Joltik is, but I have no clue who In is. Since it can't generate its own electricity, it sticks onto large-bodied Pokemon and absorbs static electricity. Next, we have another Grimmsnarl. Next, we have In's Pee-Up. Lovely. Attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched In's Pokemon. Okay, so you can only use it on his Pokemon. Alright, next we have a Pelipper, I think. It protects its young in its beak. It bobs on waves, resting on them on days when the waters are calm. I'm just imagining what's-his-face from Finding Nemo, where he has Marlin and Dory stuck in his beak. I forget his name. Alright, next we have a Morgrem. Yeah, I think that's a Morgrem. This Pokemon absorbs negative emotions and turns them into energy. It's popular with people who tend to think gloomy thoughts. Like, as in, it eats them and sends them away, or... Because if that's true, then yeah, that would be understandable. But if it just feeds off of them and does nothing, I wouldn't understand how it's popular then. Alright, next we have a Galarian Stunfisk. Its mouth kinda looks like a Pokeball, with like the heart leaf on it. At least that's what it looks like to me. Living in mud with a high iron content has given it a strong steel body. I guess I can see that. Alright, next we have a Bombirder. It looks like it has two beaks. One on its head and then one on its chest, and I have no clue what that one's supposed to do. Bombirder uses the apron on its chest to bundle up food, which carries back to its nest. Enjoys dropping things that make loud noises. Is that really an apron? Oh, it's holding it in its mouth. That's why it's looking like that. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, next we have another Parasect. The larger the mushroom on its back grows, the stronger the mushroom spores it scatters. Next, we have Iris's Fighting Spirit. Quite interesting. You can use this card only if you discard another card from your hand. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Alright, next we have a Virazon, I think. Coolio. A legend tells of this Pokémon working together with Cobalion and Terrakion to protect the Pokémon of the Unova region. Alright, next we have Hop's Choice Band. I'm guessing we can only add this to Hop's Pokémon. Attacks used by the Hops Pokémon this card is attached to cost 1 less energy and do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokémon before applying weaknesses and resistance. Cool. Alright, next we have a Impidimp. I think this pack we got all 3 of those evolutions, I think. If I'm remembering correctly. They live in groups, pestering and playing pranks on each other to polish their troublemaking skills. Yeah, we might have gotten all 3. Alright, next we have a Whalmer, a whale ball, as I like to call it. When it sucks in a large volume of seawater, it becomes like a big bouncy ball. It eats a ton of food daily. Would have to keep that size. Unless it's like super efficient with its intake. Alright, next we have Iono's Tadbulb. It's interesting. Tadbulb shakes its tail to generate electricity. If it senses danger, it will make its head blink on and off to alert its allies. It says it's a tadpole Pokemon, but I'm thinking more Firefly. But no, Fireflies blink to mate. I don't know what would blink like that. Alright, next we have a Cramorant that is stuffing its mouth with some type of fish Pokemon, it looks like. It's an incredibly poor learner because it uses the bare minimum amount of energy for its brain. It focuses on battling instead. Lovely. Alright, next we have another Ns PP up. Again, we're not commenting on the name. Next we have another Pelipper. Next we have Hopspag. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Hops Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Then shuffle your deck. Okay, so this card's only useful if you have a bunch of Hops Pokemon that you're trying to get out. Alright, next we have a Squirtle. The best. When it feels threatened, it draws its limbs inside its shell and sprays water from its mouth. Alright, next we have a Lickitung. Yeah. Bug Pokemon are Lickitungs' main food source. This Pokemon paralyzes its prey with a lick from its long tongue, then swallows the prey whole. Alright, next we have a Venonat. Looks like a ball of bug. A ball of bug. Poison oozes from all over its body. It catches small bug Pokemon at night that are attracted by light. So it just hangs out in the light, or does it cause light? Because that would be like 2 different methods of predation. Alright, next we have a Pidgey. Pidgey. I always have trouble pronouncing it. It is docile and prefers to avoid conflict. If disturbed, however, it can ferociously strike back. That's how I feel about most birds. Leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Mess with them, they'll come back with a vengeance. Alright, next we have a Kadabra with his almighty spoon. This Pokemon's telekinesis is immensely powerful. To prepare for evolution, Kadabra stores up psychic energy in the star on its forehead. Nice. So does it just not use its powers for a while to create more? Alright, next we have an Ivysaur. I actually don't know if we have other Bulbasaur evolutions in our binders. Exposure to sunlight adds to its strength. Sunlight also makes the bud on its back grow larger. Alright, next we have a Ninetales. Very smart and very vengeful. Grabbing one of its many tails can result in a 1,000-year curse. Curse on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your family. Alright, next we have a Lilpup. It's kind of like a pop figure. I don't know why, but it seems like that kind of material. I have one on my desk. So it kind of feels like that type of, looks like that type of material. This Pokemon is far brighter than the average child, and Little Pup won't forget the love it receives or any abuse it suffers. Oh, so first it's smarter than a 5th grader, and it will always remember that. Alright, next we have a Toxel. Looks like a little baby. Oh, it's a baby Pokemon. Makes sense. It has no problem drinking dirty water. An organ inside Toxel's body filters such water into a poisonous liquid that is harmless to Toxel. So, can it drink any water and it just happens to be dirty that happens? Or are they mainly going to drink dirty water because of that? Alright, next we have a Charcadet. Burnt charcoal came to life and became a Pokemon. Possessing a fiery fighting spirit, Charcadet will battle even tough opponents. Lovely. Right, next we have a Pawniard. One of the chess Pokemon. Pawniard will fearlessly challenge even powerful foes. In a pinch, it will cling to opponents and pierce them with the blades all over its body. Yeah, I guess it is. Its hands are blades, its head has a blade, abdomen seems to have 4 blades. Makes sense. Alright, next we have a Drampa. Looks like a grandpa dragon. That's all I'm getting. Drampa is a kind and friendly Pokemon, up until it's angered. When that happens, it stirs up a gale and flattens everything around. Alright, next we have a Sharpedo. A Sharpedo. It looks like a shark. A mechanical shark. This Pokemon is known as the Bully of the Sea. Any ship entering the water Sharpedo calls home will be attacked, no exceptions. So we're going to be flying. Alright, next we have an Espeon, a evolution. That's called a Sun Pokemon. Well, yeah, I guess in like other games you can only evolve it during the day. And then Umbreon, you can only evolve it at night in the games. At least the current games, I think. The tip of its forked tail quivers when it's predicting the opponent's next move. Alright, next we have a Torkoal. I think this description's different. Coal is the source of Torkoal's energy. Large amounts of coal can be found in the mountains where they live. Alright, next we have a Komala. Komala, I think. Komala. Also, koalas are my favorite animal, so this is now one of my favorites. Kamala spends its entire life sleeping. It feeds on leaves that contain a potent poison only Kamala can break down. And that's kind of the thing with eucalyptus leaves, in a way. Alright, next we have a coughing. Toxic gas is held within its thin balloon-shaped body, so it can cause massive explosions. Alright, next we have a Shuppet sticking its tongue at us. It loves to feed on feelings like envy and malice. Its upright horn catches the emotions of people. Like fishing horn? Or it's literally catching them or senses them. Alright, next we have another Grimmsnarl. According to this, yeah, so we do have all three, because we got Morgem and then Impidimp, I think. So yeah, we got all three this time. Alright, next we have another NPP up. Remoraid. This is one we get a lot, I think. Using its dorsal fin as a suction pad, it clings to a manatee's underside to scavenge for leftovers. Right, next we have a Carablast? Looks like it's made of clay as well. It spits a liquid from its mouth to melt through Shelmet's shell. Carablast doesn't eat the shell, it eats only the contents. Wasn't this the one that said when it comes in contact it evolves for some reason? Or is that not true? I don't have time to look for that again, but that would be interesting if that's the one it was talking about. I don't remember exactly. Alright, next we have a Torchic. In its belly, it has a sac filled with burning fire, meaning that Torchic feels as warm as a hot water bottle if you hug it. That's nice. Sometimes, probably. Not during a hot day, though. Next, we have a Greedent, a even larger squirrel. This Pokemon makes off with heaps of fallen berries by wrapping them in its tail, which is roughly twice the length of its body. That's slightly terrifying. Alright, next we have a Regice, I think. Looks like a tire ice statue. Oh, iceberg Pokemon, so that makes sense. With cold air that can reach temperatures as low as negative 328 degrees Fahrenheit, Regice instantly freezes any creature that approaches it. What if they are fire Pokemon of greater than that in the positive direction? The world may never know. Alright, next we have Hop's Corviknight. Very strong. Much big. Although its wings have partially turned to steel and become heavy as a result, this Pokemon flies through the skies with ease. Alright, next we have a Rockruff. This Pokemon is very friendly when it's young. Its disposition becomes vicious once it matures, but it never forgets the kindness of its master. Aww. Alright, next we have a Caterpie. Just hanging out. Its short feet are tipped with suction pads that enable it to tirelessly climb slopes and walls. Oh, I guess they could be suction pads. I always saw them as like tiny little feet. Alright, next we have a Magmar. Found near the mouth of a volcano, this fire breather's body temperature is nearly 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. So maybe it could defeat the Regice. Who knows? Alright, next we have Hops Wooloo. This Hop guy has lots of Pokemon. If its fleece grows too long, Wooloo won't be able to move. Cloth made from the wool of this Pokemon is surprisingly strong. So, before humans came around and started shearing it, how did it keep moving? Alright, next we have a Phantom. So adorable. It's like a ghost tree. With a voice like a human child's, it cries out to lure adults deep into the forest, getting them lost among the trees. That is a horror movie. That's just what that is, a horror movie. Right, next we have a Paladin Whopper. Just hanging out on a tree. After losing its territorial struggle, Whomper began living on land. The Pokemon changed over time, developing a poisonous film to protect its body. Oh. So if it leaves land, that's what it becomes? Interesting. Well, if it leaves water, that's what it becomes. Alright, next is a Buzzil. Looks like an otter. Sea weasel. Sea weasel, sea otter. It spins its two tails like a screw to propel itself through the water. Tails also slice clinging seaweed. So it's the tails of the water. Right, next we have a Poltegeist. Poltegeist, I think. Its tongue or its body, I can't tell. It's adorable. The tea that composes Poltegeist's body has a distinct and enjoyable flavor. Drinking too much, however, can be fatal. That's probably how it gets you. Alright, next we have a Toadscruel. Toadscruel, I think. I think the last bit's like cruel. But either way, that's going to be horrible for my mouth to say. These Pokemon gather into groups and form colonies deep within forests. They absolutely hate it when strangers approach. Understandable, honestly. Alright, next we have another Pelipper. Next we have a Larvitar. I'm pretty sure this is a baby as well. Born deep underground, this Pokemon becomes a pupa after eating enough dirt to make a mountain. Then how is there enough dirt for everyone else? Or is this like more like a hill? A tiny hill would make more sense. Alright, next we have another Volcarona. Next we have a Vulpix. As each tail grows, its fur becomes more lustrous. When held, it feels slightly warm. And last, but certainly not least, we have a Lunatone. Slightly creepy, slightly lovely. The phase of the moon apparently has some effect on its power. It is active on the night of the full moon. Alrighty then, so we went through 2 stacks, kind of, sort of. So like 3 of these little things. But yeah, so I'll have fun organizing my cards later because I love organizing them. It's a thing. But if you would like to follow me other places, you can with all my socials that are down below, including my Etsy store and Patreon, which I will be slowly adding more to. Eventually, I've just been really busy lately with the job. And again, I'd like to thank Panda for giving me a set of cards for my birthday, which was this one that we opened today. But I will see you next week, more than likely, with another group of Pokemon to unbox. And then we might do something to switch it up a bit. I'm not sure. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.